justice goes to the grave with Nazis. There was a clear and defined bad guy. There were, let's not even call it reparations. There were clear and defined consequences for being a Nazi, for being in league with Hitler. It is a very easy thing to wrap your head around. Ooh, Nazi war criminal, we caught you, you're going to jail. Hitler is widely regarded as being a force of pure evil. It's a very easy situation to understand. And while it doesn't make any of what happened during the Second World War, during the Holocaust, any better, it is useful. It is useful for Jewish people and other people that were persecuted by Nazi war criminals. It's useful for them to have that clearly defined sense of that was bad. The world is now punishing it. It allows them to move on a little bit, don't you think? Same deal with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was a big period on the end of a long sentence. And then after that, we built Japan back up to the point where they're now outpacing us. You don't feel that lingering resentment between Germans and the rest of the world. I mean, there's the occasional joke, but you don't feel that sort of tension between Germans and Americans, or Germans and English people, that you would think you would feel at this stage in the game. Why? Because there was a period at the end of the sentence. There was a clearly defined bad guy. There was a clearly defined consequence for having been that bad guy. Sorry, bad guy sort of trivializes the situation a little bit, and that's not my intention. But that stuff, there was something tangible that you could point to and go, all right, that was wrong. These are the consequences to those actions. And this is how we are moving forward. But with slavery, with the racial divide that you feel in this country, not so much. Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. They joined his army. They weren't really on equal footing, but they were free. But into what kind of freedom? Hey, you've been brought up as a slave, living in a box, denied your freedom, being whipped, beaten, in some cases, baited like dogs for sport against one another. And now we're just going to take the chains off and send you out into the world. Lots of luck with that. I wonder how you're going to matriculate into society. And those people that whipped and beat you and caused all sorts of human atrocities, well, they're just going to continue farming. They're just going to continue with their cotton. And people are going to feel a little bit more apologetic toward them because they have to find a new way to pick up the slack that doesn't involve slave labor. The way in which slavery was ended in this country, the way in which that happened, there was never a moment that felt like justice. There was never a moment that felt like, hey, these people were horrible, therefore they obviously have to go to jail. They weren't Nazi war criminals. They weren't imprisoned for the atrocities against humanity they committed. They were just like, hey, you know, those atrocities used to be okay. Now it's not okay. So if you could just muddle along without the financial benefits that come with these atrocities, that'd be great. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but these guys have to go free. Come on, come on. That was the extent of the punishment to people that had been slavers. And maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong. You know, it's just like, it was the done thing at the time. Doesn't make it right, and it doesn't excuse the human atrocity, but it was just legal at the time. Like how drinking and driving used to be legal. And then it got slowly decriminalized where it was like, hey, pour the rest of that out before you make the rest of your way home in some places. But that's the thing. There was never really a period put on the end of the sentence with regard to slavery. It's been a slow climb toward equality, which probably, if we're being real with ourselves, doesn't exist. But at the same time, like our friend Jeff said, Being black in Redneckville, South Texas, I learned quickly not to dwell on the past. If you can't let it go, you'll burn up inside. And that's why the black-white divide here is so complicated. There wasn't a period put on the end of the sentence. And you know what? There never will be, probably. Is that wrong? Yeah, it's horrible. But at the same time, it's not my fault. I'm white. I didn't do it. And if someone looks to blame me for their ancestors' slavery, I'm going to have to hold my hands up and be like, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Sorry it happened, but I'm extending you every single piece of goodwill I know how to as a human being. I never even thought about the divide between you and I until you brought it up. So let's just move forward, shall we? And that's the tough part, because it's not fair and it is not right. But it's the only way that we as a species are going to survive. If we can live in the now and take people on their merits and not hold the crimes of their grandparents against them. Yep, that's what I think. Hopefully I've been understood on this one. It's kind of an interesting and sticky topic. But if there's any scope to misunderstand what I'm saying here, with the period not being put on the end of the sentence, I want you to realize that everything that I've said doesn't really just apply to being black or being white or being of a certain ethnicity or being of a certain religion. It applies to all of us as humanity. What angers you about the past is always going to be readily available, and you have every right to feel bad about the unjust things that have been done to you as you make your way in the world. You have every right to be mad 100% of the time, and you can find things to be mad about 100% of the time. But is it going to serve you? Is it going to serve us as a species? No, I don't think it is. And more importantly, is it going to serve you as you make your way in life? Probably not. And that's why I would urge you, like I said, to live in the now. So, David Perry, a World War II veteran, died June 5th. World War II veteran. That is not stopping the government from going after his money. The Department of Veterans Affairs sent a letter to Perry's home in Avondale, Pennsylvania. It was to be opened by addressee only, but as Perry's wife, his widow, Helena, pointed out, that would be kind of hard for him since he's dead. So she went ahead and she opened it anyway. The letter said, "You remain eligible to receive VA health benefits. Please provide copy of your death certificate." You can still get health benefits if you provide proof of your death. This is to be opened by the addressee only. Another piece of mail arrived several days later. This time it was a bill for 59 cents to be paid by October 11th. After that, there would be additional charges. Perry received a third letter September 4th. A reminder to get a flu shot. A reminder to a dead man to pay his bills and get a flu shot. So his widow, Helena, called the number listed on the bill and spoke with customer service. She said she told Cecil, the customer service representative, that she had received a bill addressed to her late husband asking for 59 cents. "I thought Cecil was going to crack up," Helena said. She later told him, "I'm not going to pay it," to which Cecil replied, "I think we're on the same page." While Helena, who is 81, described the mishap as hilarious, there was one thing she didn't find funny. She said that the Philadelphia VA Disability Benefits Office sent her letters critical of her for not canceling an appointment she had made to file a claim for her late husband's hearing loss. She insisted that she did cancel the appointment. The irony here is that in order to send the letter to Bill Helena, 59 cents, it probably cost the VA about $3. If you consider the value of a stamp, envelope, paper, processing fees, man hours involved, it's not a wonder when you think of this that we're trillions of dollars in debt. Yeah, If I'm Helena at this stage in the game, I'm asking to pay that bill off in installments. It was interesting. It was interesting. Did you see this thing that happened in Germany? I know you can't blindly take another country's policies and practices and put them here and expect them to work, but yeah. College education, now free to everybody who wants one in Germany. This is a country that has an economy based on capitalism. Now, I'm not trying to oversimplify the situation, but even the laissez-faire Reaganomics-loving capitalist pig side of me likes this one. And I was talking to some friends about it, and a buddy of mine was like, BS, nothing's free. They're shifting the costs around. There's no such thing as a free lunch. And yeah, I'm sure you pay through taxes, but I wouldn't trust the last two administrations here to sit the right way around on a toilet seat. I'd rather know my taxes are going towards something tangible that I can believe in and use. Said it a million times on the radio. I would pay double if I could earmark where my taxes go. At the very least, maybe the effing pothole at the end of the road would get fixed. And at the very most, I know my tax dollars aren't being squandered on things like postage to dead people to send them bills they will never pay. And it's not a particularly new idea, but I believe education, that's a cure-all for a lot of our ills. Have an awesome one. Thank you so much for hanging out, being part of my radio family.